Hey, Anthony,
Yeah,
did you see that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed today at a university event?
yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, pretty much the same thing that I think anytime somebody dies due to gun violence in the US, which is that all of this could have been avoided and we need massive gun reform to prevent things like this from happening in the future. Although, if we're going to talk about gun violence today, I'd rather talk about the school shooting in Colorado where four children were critically injured.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it happened at about the same time. There's some news reporting on it, but not a lot of it. And, it's one in a long line of almost weekly school shootings in the US that's constantly being ignored by the media. And one where the victims were innocents. Kirk, by contrast, while not deserving to be shot, was an awful person and one of many conservative influencers who's directly responsible for the state that the country is currently in, including all of the gun violence.
How so?
Well, to start with, the event he was shot at today was one of his infamous outdoor debate events that he's known for. And while he was shot, he was in the process of arguing against gun control, which is something that he's done frequently in the past. He's quoted from 2023 as saying that he thinks it's worth it to have the cost of some gun deaths every year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our God given rights, which, some makes it sound like it's just a few people that die each year, but something like 45,000 people died or were injured last year due to gun violence. 500 of those deaths were due to mass shootings, and 5,000 of those deaths or injuries were teens or children, four of which were those kids today, right? That's not a few, that's a crisis. And until his very last breath, literally, Kirk was arguing in favor of more guns and blaming trans people for mass shootings. He was also responsible for, I think, a lot of toxic masculinity thoughts and the type of things that encourage people to gun violence in the first place. This is a result of that, right? I don't think he should have died. I don't wish gun violence on anybody, but almost called this upon himself.
What do you think of Trump's reaction to this in comparison to the reactions to the school shootings?
I mean, it's ironic that they're having a vigil in DC for Kirk, who's, again, right, been a supporter of gun violence for all this time, while you have all these many school shootings that happen, and Trump can't even be bothered to talk about most of them. When these Democratic reps were assassinated a little while ago in Minnesota, Trump could barely be bothered to say anything about them or to call Tim Walz, the governor of the state, as is typically customary in these type of things. Basically brushed the whole thing off. And now he's calling, Kirk legendary, basically because, Kirk was a big supporter of his.
Do you think they're going to use this as a false flag event?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. False flag implies that they set it up, and, I haven't seen anything to indicate that that's true. It wouldn't really surprise me either way if this was something they set up, but it's certainly unfortunate timing considering that it's going to draw focus away from the Epstein files when we continue to have more and more information come out.